Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to the A segment of episode 18 of Codename Kids Next Door, Operation S.H.A.V.E. We begin this segment with the Sector V operatives of the Kids Next Door arriving in Texas in a vehicle that's essentially a barber shop with mechanical crab limbs. It's called the Chop Shop. The Chop Shop makes its way towards the Sector T treehouse, which is located in a giant cactus. Number 1, number 4, and number 5 exit the Chop Shop, and they navigate the Sector T treehouse using stealth. Eventually, the trio of Sector V operatives locate the Sector T operatives, and they find that most of the Sector T operatives have mustaches on their faces, and they're starting to obsessively talk about mustaches. Using 2x4 technology, the trio of Sector V operatives are able to launch the Sector T operatives inside of the Chop Shop. Number 2 is piloting the Chop Shop, while number 3 shaves the mustaches off of the Sector T operatives. Soon enough, the trio of Sector V operatives inside of the Sector T treehouse at the moment find that there's one Sector T operative who doesn't have a mustache, number 142. Number 142 points out, though, that he has peach fuzz on his face, which means that eventually he will acquire a mustache like his teammates have already. But with the time he has, number 142 is able to explain to the Sector V operatives that are currently with him that this whole situation started when number 149 had returned to the Sector T treehouse one day after visiting his mom's office, and when he returned to the treehouse after this visit, he had a mustache, and soon enough the other Sector T operatives began to acquire mustaches as well, with number 142 currently having peach fuzz and eventually acquiring a mustache. Number 142 is also able to point the trio of Sector V operatives to where number 149's mom's office is located at, and it's located inside of a tall building with a mustache on it. After he points them to this direction, number 142 grows a mustache, and now he's starting to obsessively talk about mustaches as well. The trio of Sector V operatives launch number 142 into the Chop Shop, and number 1 vows to avenge number 142. The next scene shows all 5 of the Sector V operatives infiltrating the Mustache building, and they shave off the mustaches of all the security guards that they come across using 2x4 technology that's essentially a shaving gun. That's the best way I can think to describe it. Once they're free, the security guards explain to the Sector V operatives that apparently the mustaches have minds of their own. They're sapient mustaches, essentially, that are possessing individuals when they take residence on an individual's face. And the head mustache apparently vows to put mustaches on everyone's faces. And the security guards are also able to point the Sector V operatives to where number 149's mom's office is, the top floor. So the Sector V operatives head to the top floor where number 149's mom's office is, and they find out that the head mustache has possessed number 149's mom. And the head mustache proceeds to go on a rant about how... First the head mustache pulls a lever which causes a magnet to appear, and the magnet pulls the shaving guns away from the Sector V operatives. After this is done, the head mustache goes on a rant about wanting to put mustaches on everyone's face in the world. But then we see that number 149's mom is trying to break free of the control of the head mustache. We, the audience, can tell who's in control depending on the accent that number 149's mom talks with. the head, when the head mustache is in control, number 149's mom talks with a southern accent. When number 149's mom takes control, she talks without the southern accent. So while number 149's mom is fighting for control against the head mustache, number 5 tosses her hat towards the lever to deactivate the magnet so that the Sector V operatives can reclaim their shaving guns. And they try to launch their shaving guns towards the head mustache, but the head mustache actually the head mustache jumps out of the way, so the head mustache is no longer on number 149's mom's face. So now the Sector V operatives have to find the head mustache, but then the head mustache manages to possess number 3, who plans to use the shaving gun against the other Sector V operatives. Number 149's mom, however, is able to help out when she activates the magnet to take the shaving gun away from the head mustache possessing number 3. And then the rest of the Sector V operatives are able to get the head mustache off of number 3's face. Then number 149's mom deactivates the magnet so that number 1 can take the shaving gun and deliver the finishing blow. But then the head mustache begs him to stop, revealing that these sapient mustaches are able to talk without host bodies. So more of the mustaches appear as well with the head mustache, and they all reveal their faces, which are just, each mustache has eyes and a mouth. That's their face, essentially. But the head mustache begs mercy, saying that he and his comrades simply wish to have homes. And then the head mustache explains how mustaches used to be everywhere in the past on the faces of famous individuals. But now the head mustache says that mustaches are lucky enough to end up on the faces of professional bowlers. That's actually what he says. And number 3 actually takes pity upon the sapient mustaches and wants to help them, although she refers to the head mustache as Kitty and refers to the head mustache with female pronouns, but the head mustache clarifies he's a mustache and he's male. Number 4 still doesn't want to help the sapient mustaches, but then number 3 activates her, I guess you could call it her angry face. Yeah, she activates her angry face and she insists on helping the sapient mustaches. Number 4 decides that they should help the sapient mustaches out after this. Number 5 thinks for a moment, but then she says she has an idea. So next up, we head to the Antarctic, where we see the Chop Shop actually landing next to a group of penguins. One of the penguins enters the Chop Shop, but then reemerges with a mustache, and the segment ends with the penguin with the mustache saying that they look good with a mustache. So this segment, some fans would consider this segment to probably be one of the weirder entries in the series. I still think Operation Turnip is on the weirder side, personally, but yeah, I can definitely see how this would definitely be considered on the weird side, even when you take Codename Kids Next Door's usual standards of over-the-top situations. And the whole idea of a group of entities trying to possess everyone in the world, that sounds like something out of a horror movie. And amusingly enough, this segment and its sibling segment actually first premiered on Halloween of the year that this episode 18 premiered in. So you could say that kind of highlights that horror movie vibe in some ways. But although it does sound like something out of a horror movie, the whole situation is played up for humor, because the idea of sapient mustaches trying to possess everyone in the world. And even then, the sapient mustaches are actually not malevolent. In truth, the sapient mustaches simply wish to have homes because yeah, they simply wish to have homes. So at their worst, you could call the sapient mustaches Type 3 anti-villains, well-intentioned extremists. At their best, you can call them Type 4 anti-villains or nominal villains. But yeah, they weren't really malevolent, and in the end, the Sector V operatives were able to figure out a solution to help the sapient mustaches out. They've now taken residence on the faces of penguins, and I have to admit that was pretty funny to see a penguin with a mustache at the end. Yeah, I definitely didn't expect that when I first watched the segment, because, yeah, I didn't expect penguins of all. Yeah, I didn't expect an ending with penguins having mustaches, but I found it amusing all the same when I first watched the entry. Oh, and speaking of this segment, the funny thing about this segment, when it first premiered or first aired on TV, that happened around the time when I actually was starting to grow a mustache for the first time. So yeah, I could definitely understand where the Kids Next Door operatives were coming from about the mustaches. So it's pretty funny how the premiere airing of this segment coincided with me growing a mustache at the time. I found that pretty amusing how it lined up that way. Funny how those coincidences can happen in real life. But another important detail about this segment is we actually do get to see another sector in the Kids Next Door organization have some focus. True, in earlier entries of the series so far, we have met other operatives outside of the Sector V operatives, and we did get to see glimpse of the other sectors besides the Sector V operatives. Or we got to see other operatives outside of Sector V, the organization as a whole. But they didn't really get to have as much of a prevalent focus. The only time we had focus outside of the Sector V operatives were individual operatives, not an entire sector. So this segment stood out for giving us some significant focus on one of the sectors outside of Sector V, Sector T in this case. And we even got to meet one of the parents of one of the Sector T operatives, number 149's mom, who actually ended up helping the Sector V operatives out. And the security guards were also shown to be grateful about having the mustaches removed from them as well. So this was actually a segment where you could say, season 1 showed hints of it here or there earlier on, but like I said, it's more in Season 2 when we start to see more of those shades of gray being recognized in the series, where we get to see not all adults are bad. And this showed some adults not only being grateful for the Kids Next Door's help, but also actually actively helping the Kids Next Door out with their mission as well. And we'll see more of that as we go on later on in the series. We'll get to see more examples of how not all adults are bad, and I do feel that becomes more prevalent compared to Season 1, which did still showed hints of it, but it's definitely more prevalent in the later seasons. So otherwise, I think that might be about it for now. So yeah, you could say this is definitely one of the weirder entries in the series, but it did feature villains that weren't actually human, but sapient mustaches, but they really were more anti-villains than actual villains, and they ended up coming to a peaceful resolution with the Kids Next Door. And like I said, we got to meet a few more Kids Next Door operatives outside of Sector V, and actually got to see another sector as a whole get some attention to it. So otherwise, I would say there we go for this particular segment. So as of this video, we've now discussed the A segment of episode 18 of Codename Kids Next Door on this channel. Take care, and until next time.